All right, welcome to episode 3 of Cochrane Real TV. My name is Shane and I'm your host today. So, it's been a very interesting weekend. Today is obviously Easter. Normally, I would be in church celebrating. This is probably the first time, and I can't even remember missing church on an Easter, other than maybe some winter storm or something crazy, but pretty much, like, as far as I can remember, I was always in church during Easter. So now with this Wuhan virus pandemic basically all over the world, it's a different world right now. We're home. My wife's upstairs in the theater chilling. I'm doing a podcast, and the show must go on. So my goal is to do an episode, at least one episode every week, maybe more. I'll see. This is a new channel. I created it a couple of days ago. There's a fellow I've been following. His name is Brian Rose out of the UK, and he's got a YouTube channel called London Real TV. So I thought, why not create Cochrane Real TV? I know there is a few other YouTube channels. There's one in Vancouver. There's one in New York City. They call themselves Vancouver Real TV, New York Real TV. They're doing pretty well. So I thought I would start one. I'm in a small town. I believe we're about 23,000 people in Cochrane. So I thought this might be a good place to start. Start in Cochrane, call it Cochrane Real TV. And eventually maybe I can get some guests on here. So that's the plan. In the meantime, right now it's just getting used to doing episodes every once in a while and trying to develop my content, all that kind of stuff. So today I want to talk a little bit about David Icke, Icke, and he lives in UK, and I'm just going to share a little screen, talk a little bit about him. I'm hoping this channel or this YouTube channel doesn't get banned just because you're talking about someone. It's kind of weird. You could talk about Genghis Khan, you could talk about Hitler, you could talk about anyone, Nero, all that kind of stuff. But if for some reason, if you talk about conspiracy theorists, all this kind of stuff, you risk either your channel getting banned, your LinkedIn account deleted, your YouTube video, videos taken down, all that kind of stuff. It's just a strange world. So I'm taking a chance right now talking about this guy, but I thought it's kind of interesting because Brian Rose had an episode. They went about 2.5 hours, and if you want to go check out the episode, it's on LondonReal.tv, and check out the episode with David Icke. It's 2.5 hours long. I watched it. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm on the side of total conspiracy and all that kind of stuff. Like I want to always try and be grounded with stuff like this. My understanding is COVID-19 started in China all the way to Wuhan. We don't call it the Wuhan virus necessarily. We used to call it the coronavirus. Now we got the code name COVID-19. Who knows what it's going to be called next week. But right now, I know from anything that I've watched, they've said that it's going to take at least a year, maybe 18 months to come up with a vaccine for this COVID-19. So in the meantime, they're trying everything they can to encourage people to do social distancing, 2 meters apart. It's in grocery stores, all that kind of stuff. I work in the retail outlet. I deliver potato chips to grocery stores, and I'm in these Walmarts, Sobeys, Co-ops, 7-Elevens, Mac stores, Monday to Friday. So what I've done to combat that is I go in I try to go in late or early in the morning, so like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm done about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, just so I can try and avoid people as much as possible. That doesn't always work. But so back to David Icke, he talks a little bit about uh, COVID-19 and basically the effects on our society and how that could possibly introduce basically a one world government in a nutshell. He doesn't say that directly, but it's basically a few people in the world ruling everyone else, the one percenters. So he makes an interesting case after about 2.5 hours of watching it. The one thing for me that I mentioned in another episode that is interesting to me is uh, Bill Gates and his foundation, if they're helping out, if they're working with Google, or if they're just on their own, if they're coming up with a plan to be able to trace COVID-19, it seems to make sense logically that you want to figure out who has it and who doesn't. And then if you have it, you should stay home. If you don't have it, you should be able to know if you're going to bump into these people that have it or have had it, that kind of thing. And the easiest way to do that would be to use your phones or have some kind of a patch on your arm. Maybe it's an RFID chip or something like that, some kind of a patch or something that the government, we're in Alberta, maybe the Alberta government, if you're in the States, maybe, well, the States, I don't know how they operate, but they have on a state by state basis, they can say, you know what, we need you. It's mandatory, absolutely mandatory that you have your phone on you and you turn on Bluetooth and you download this app, and it's a COVID tracer. And if you have it, you stay home. If you need to go out, you send somebody else out or whatever. But if you have to absolutely go out, you need to turn that on so that we could track where you're going, and we can let other people know that you are in their neighborhood. They get a little alert. Hey, there are 3 people that have COVID-19 in your area. Please be warned, be advised, all that kind of stuff. The cops are alerted. They know, okay, in this section, there's about 4 or 5 people that headed to Starbucks. We got to monitor it. So it sounds a little bit science fiction, I know, but I could see logically that happening down the road, where you have to have some kind of a system in place where you can monitor how people are interacting with other people, because otherwise, how are you able to shut down work, and how can you get it going again if people are just going wherever they want? It's going to be pretty tough. So he talks a little bit about that. He talks about 5G and all that, and I don't know if I believe all that. I have to do a lot of research on 5G. But my point in all of this is that it could easily go down the road where we start losing a little bit of our freedom each day, but it's necessary. Whether you agree or not, it just feels like that's where things are going. I think about it a little bit more on Easter, because in my Bible here, it's kind of interesting. As a kid reading it, talked about the end of the days kind of thing with the Antichrist and the mark of the beast and all this kind of stuff. But there was actually one chapter in Revelation, I think it's Revelation 11 or something like that, but don't quote me on that, where it talks about the beast basically, and this is written obviously a few thousand years ago, but basically saying that if interesting that my mic cuts out then. if you want to buy something, you need to take the mark of the beast. If you want to sell, you have to have that mark, and it's going to be on your right hand or on your forehead. And we all know that that's back then, that we know that there's something to that. We just don't know. Does that mean you get a tattoo? Do you get a mark 666? I don't think so. I don't think you have 666 written across your forehead or 18 digits. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be a little bit more sophisticated than that. Who knows if this is a mark? We don't know. But in society, it makes sense to have something where if you don't want to use cash anymore, you need some kind of a device, whether that's on your wrist, a wristband, headband, in your glasses, in your contact lenses, on your phone, that you can pull up to a drive-through, tap, get close enough, and then boom, you get your food. Maybe it's a grocery store, same thing. You just pull up, they hand your food to you, and you get credited or debited out of your account. Who knows what it is? But because it's Easter Sunday, you think a little bit more about that because you're at home, and I don't know if any of that stuff's going to come to fruition in the next few years or whatever, but right now it seems to make sense that if you want, let's go to the extreme side of things. If you want, let's just say you want the benefits from the government in case of an emergency, you want your paycheck, all this kind of stuff. Maybe you want groceries, all that stuff, and it's all mandated by the government. Maybe it makes sense to mandate something like you need your vaccines. You need your COVID-19 vaccines, which are now available. Let's just say hypothetically. You need those. If you don't get the vaccine, you don't get the benefits of being able to walk around whenever you feel like it. Because maybe they can give you some kind of a code or a bracelet that says, hey, this person has COVID-19, he has that vaccine, so he's good to go. He can go bike riding, he can go jogging, he can do all this kind of stuff. But if he doesn't have the vaccine, you might infect somebody. Again, it makes sense logically. But if they go down that road, maybe every year now you need a vaccine. And some of these, like I mentioned, I showed there's a website called dangerousthings.com. They actually sell RFID chips, and they're tiny. And I've seen videos where they actually put the chips in your hand, and then you can unlock doors and all that kind of stuff. It's just like a key. So we're not too far away from that. But yeah, so this is just a short little tiny episode on Easter Sunday. So we did watch our church service this morning, which was pretty good. And then I watched a few other churches that were online. That just seems to be the way things are. In regards to the economy, I don't know when we're going to bounce back. I really don't. Could be a month. I have a feeling we're here for the summer. It's going to be like this, which kind of sucks. I really want to go golfing. I'd like to go in a movie theater. I'd like to go see the Blue Jays play. So I don't know. I think all that stuff seems to be on hold. I know there's a couple of things I won't be doing. I won't be going to China. I won't be going on a cruise. And who knows if we're even going to be flying over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Who knows? Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I kindly ask you to subscribe. Click on the bell. That way, anytime I upload a video, you will be notified immediately. And if you'd like to be on this show, you know how to get a hold of me. And just send me an email, cochranerealtv@gmail.com. If you have an interesting story, something to share, maybe something I've talked about already, let me know. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.